She was screaming at the top of her lungs, "That's my son! You can't do this!" while her son was face down on the road, handcuffed next to my Dodge Challenger. It started just after sunrise. I walked out to grab my mail and saw tire marks cutting across my driveway, deep, black streaks that hadn't been there last night. My Challenger, the car I'd restored for 5 years, was gone. I thought it was stolen by some random thief, until my neighbor Karen came storming out of her house, robe flying, yelling at 2 teenagers hiding behind her SUV. "You better not blame my son for your old car disappearing," she snapped before I even opened my mouth. That's when it hit me. One of those kids was wearing my leather jacket, the one I kept in the car. I kept my calm. "Karen, if your son didn't take it, then why does he have my jacket?" Her smile twitched. "Oh, please, it's just a jacket. Maybe he found it. You should be grateful someone even wants your junk car." I walked back inside, checked my home security feed, and there it was, her son, sneaking into my garage at midnight, starting the engine, and speeding off like he was in a movie. The camera caught everything. When I came back out, Karen had the nerve to say, "If you call the cops, I'll tell them you gave him permission. He's just a kid, and you'll ruin his future." I didn't reply. I just pointed my phone at her and hit play. The sound of the Challenger roaring to life filled the quiet street. Her face turned pale. She froze for a second, and then tried to double down. "That footage means nothing. My husband works with the HOA. We'll handle this privately." But it was too late. Just then, we heard it. The low thump of a helicopter in the distance. The police scanner on my phone buzzed. Suspect in stolen black Dodge Challenger, heading westbound. Air unit in pursuit. Karen's fake confidence vanished. She looked up, realizing they were talking about her son. I didn't say a word. I just whispered, "Looks like they found your innocent kid." The sound of the helicopter grew louder until the whole neighborhood was awake. Red and blue lights flashed down the street as 3 police cruisers raced past us. Karen stood frozen on her lawn, clutching her phone, whispering, They can't be chasing him." But they were. The police scanner kept updating. Vehicle running multiple stop signs, speed exceeding 120 miles per hour, refusing to pull over. Every word hit her like a punch. She turned to me with wide eyes. "You don't understand. He's a good boy. He's never done anything like this before." I crossed my arms. "He stole a car, Karen. Mine. That's not just boy trouble." She grabbed my sleeve, trembling. "Please, just tell them it's a misunderstanding. I'll make it right." I pulled away. "They've already got the footage. It's out of my hands." Minutes later, the news alert popped up on my phone. Live, police chase in progress, suspect in stolen Dodge Challenger. The reporter's voice shook as the camera zoomed in on my car, speeding down the freeway. The driver appears to be a teenager. Officers are coordinating with the air unit to box him in. Karen sank to the ground, her hands shaking. "They'll shoot him. They'll hurt my baby." I tried not to react, but even I felt my heart twist. I didn't want the kid hurt. I just wanted justice. Then, the TV helicopter caught it live. The car spun out near an intersection after hitting a spike strip. Sparks flew as the tires shredded. The Challenger skidded sideways and stopped inches from a patrol car. Within seconds, officers surrounded it. Karen gasped when she saw it. Her son stepping out with his hands raised. He looked terrified. "Oh God, that's my boy," she whispered, her voice breaking. I didn't say a thing. The entire street was silent, except for the sound of her crying. Then my phone buzzed again. A call from the police. "Sir, your vehicle's been recovered. You'll need to come down to verify ownership and give a statement." I looked over at Karen, who was now pacing, muttering, "They'll drop the charges once I talk to them. I'll tell them it was your fault for leaving your keys in the car." But my security footage and every second of that chase said otherwise. By the time I reached the police station, the place was buzzing. Reporters were outside, filming live updates. The chase had gone viral. Teen in stolen Challenger caught after 40-minute pursuit. My car, my street, even my name were trending online. Inside, one of the officers greeted me. "You're the owner, right? That kid's lucky he didn't kill himself or anyone else." He handed me a clipboard. "You'll need to sign for your vehicle once we finish the impound inspection." Through the glass window, I could see Karen's son sitting in a small room, eyes red, hands cuffed. He looked smaller now, like reality had finally hit him. Then came the echo of heels, sharp, fast, angry. Karen burst through the doors like she owned the place. "This is outrageous. My son didn't steal anything. That man," she pointed at me, "told him he could borrow it." The officer raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, we have video evidence showing your son breaking into his garage." She froze for half a second, then crossed her arms. "That footage could be edited. I know my rights. My husband is on the HOA board, and he'll have your badge for this." The officer barely flinched. "Ma'am, this isn't an HOA matter. Your son committed a felony. You might want to sit down." Karen's voice cracked into a shriek. "He's just a kid. You people love destroying families over small mistakes." I finally turned toward her. "A small mistake? He almost hit a pedestrian, Karen. He's lucky no one's in a hospital." Her face turned red. "You don't understand. If this goes public, my family's reputation is ruined. The HOA will think we're criminals." The officer sighed. "Ma'am, it already is public. The chase was live on 3 networks." That broke her. She slumped into the chair, covering her face. But even then, she mumbled, "I'll sue him. He's responsible for this mess." I quietly pulled out my phone and showed her the last clip. Her son bragging in a group chat before the theft. "I'm gonna take the old guy's Challenger for a spin. HOA Karen's son isn't scared of anyone." Her jaw dropped. For once she had no words. And then came the twist. The officer who'd been listening leaned closer to me and said quietly, "Funny thing, that HOA she keeps talking about. We've been investigating them for months." Karen looked up, eyes wide. "What? What did you just say?" Karen's face went pale. "Investigating? What do you mean?" she asked, her voice trembling. The officer leaned back, crossing his arms. "Your HOA's been involved in multiple cases of harassment, fake fines, and property manipulation. We've had reports of forged documents, illegal towing, even trespassing." He looked directly at her, and guess whose name keeps popping up in those complaints? Karen's lips parted, but no sound came out. She glanced at me like I'd set her up. "This is ridiculous. Those are lies. We follow community rules." I smirked slightly. "Rules you made up, Karen. Remember when your HOA fined me for having a red car in a neutral color zone? Yeah, that was you." The officer opened a folder and slid a few photos across the table. Fake notices, stamped with the same HOA logo Karen had proudly hung on her front door. "These were traced to your home printer," he said calmly, "not the HOA office." Her mouth dropped open. No, that's impossible. My husband handles all the paperwork. The officer cut her off. He already confessed. Said you told him it was just to keep the neighborhood in line. The silence in the room was heavy. Her son looked up from his seat, confused. Mom, what's he talking about? She turned toward him, tears finally breaking through her anger. Sweetheart, I just wanted to protect us. People like him, she pointed at me again, think they can do whatever they want. I stepped closer. Karen, I fought for this country, so people like you can't do whatever they want. My voice stayed calm, but the words hit her harder than any argument. The officer nodded slowly. Ma'am, your son will face charges for vehicle theft and reckless endangerment. As for you, we'll be in touch about the HOA investigation. You might want to call a lawyer. Karen slumped back, defeated. The woman who used to scream about property rules and threaten neighbors with fake citations now looked like a shadow of herself. As I left the station, the evening light hit the side of my Challenger. Scratched, dented, but still running. Kind of like me. The reporter outside shouted, Sir, any comment on what happened today? I paused, looking straight at the camera. Yeah, I said. Don't mess with someone's freedom, or their car. It went viral overnight. But 2 days later, another twist surfaced. A message slipped into my mailbox. No stamp, no signature. Just one line written in bold marker. I stared at that note for a long time. The handwriting was messy, rushed, but familiar. Karen's. For a second, I laughed it off. Maybe it was just her last attempt to look tough after everything she'd lost. But something didn't sit right. The next morning, when I stepped outside, I noticed the same black SUV that had been parked near her house was now sitting across from mine. Engine off, windows tinted. It didn't move for hours. That evening, I called the sheriff. He sounded wary. We already have an open investigation on her HOA, but if she's trying to intimidate you, we'll keep an eye out. Later that night, I checked my security cameras again, around 2:30 a.m. Someone walked up my driveway, a hooded figure. They got close to my car, too close, and bent down near the tires. Then, the video cut out, static. By the time I rushed outside, whoever it was had disappeared. The SUV was gone too, but all 4 tires on my Challenger were slashed. That was it. I wasn't just dealing with a crazy HOA anymore. This was personal. The next morning, I visited the sheriff's office with the footage. He frowned as he watched the static flicker across the screen. That's not random interference, he said. Someone jammed your signal. My stomach dropped. You mean they used tech to block my cameras? He nodded. That's not amateur work. Someone knows what they're doing. I leaned closer. So this wasn't just Karen being angry? He gave a grim smile. Looks like she's got help, or someone bigger's trying to cover something up. Later that afternoon, the HOA office was raided. News crews surrounded the building. Reporters shouted about fraud, extortion, and evidence tampering. Turns out, Karen's HOA wasn't just writing fake fines. They were laundering money through shell properties in the neighborhood. But the craziest part? Her husband wasn't the one running it. The sheriff called me personally that night. You should hear this from me, he said. Karen wasn't just part of the HOA. She was the one who created it. I froze. You mean it was fake from the start? Completely, he said. She built a fake HOA, printed her own paperwork, collected money, bullied neighbors, and used her husband's name as cover. The whole operation was hers. I couldn't believe it. The same woman who once lectured me about community values had built an entire empire of lies from her living room. And when the sheriff added, "She's missing now," I knew that note in my mailbox wasn't an empty threat.